What's happening, guys? It's Jeremy Blanton with RE/MAX Southern Shores, and today I wanted to share something that I just recently read. Pods, the company that does the travel boxes that you can load all your furniture and all your belongings in, and they'll pick up the trailer and deliver it to wherever you want and stick it in your driveway, or you're moving and you need a place to store it for a while, you can put it in one of their storage facilities and then bring it. Well, that company, they do a survey every year where they talk about the #1 city for move-ins, places that they're delivering pod boxes to. And for the second year in a row, Myrtle Beach, right here, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, was the #1 destination. They've done this survey for a while now, and they've had a lot of people who've done the survey and been a part of it over many years. And this is the first time that one city has won it 2 years in a row. So as I was looking through this article and reading it, they shared the reasons why they think Myrtle Beach is #1. And what they use and what they say helps to determine this and why people are moving are 3 factors. The first factor, the cost of living. People want to know, what does it cost to live there? The second, what's the weather like? And then the third, the quality of life in the area. So we're going to talk about these 3 points here in a minute, and I want to share with you what it's like here in the Myrtle Beach area. So the first one that I want to talk about, the weather. When it comes to weather here in Myrtle Beach, one of the big reasons people want to move here is because it is fantastic most of the year. So if you lived up in the Northeast or you live there right now, and you went through this winter, you've probably experienced something like this. Cold, dreary, drab days, snow on the ground, can't go outside, can't do anything, and just stuck inside, right? I remember growing up in Pennsylvania. I grew up in Reading, PA, and we had that so much of my childhood growing up, where we basically, from right after Thanksgiving till almost March, were stuck inside. I remember one year, it was in the end of February, and we had a storm come that dropped so much snow that we could not leave our house for like 7 or 8 days. Well, here in the Myrtle Beach area, first off, snow, that white stuff, you're not really ever gonna see it. Once in a while, we may have a little bit of a flurry that may come through. As I've talked before in the past, I have 3 children, and my youngest is about to turn 10 years old. She has basically seen snow in her life 3 times, and that's it. And when we do get snow, it is the perfect type of snowstorm most of the time. The last time we had one was a few years back. I want to say probably was like 2020. And I'll never forget, it was a Saturday morning. She came running into our room. "Mom, Dad, guess what? There's snow on the ground." "Huh? What? We're asleep." Obviously, she's waking us up 6, 7 in the morning. "There's snow on the ground." So, of course, we got up, woke up the other kids, and went outside. We had a snowball battle where we dressed in like 17 layers of clothes because we don't really have winter clothing here. But we dressed as best we could, headed out, and went outside to throw snowballs. After doing that for about 15 minutes or so, all the neighbors were out there. We threw snowballs with our neighbors, had a big neighborhood snowball fight, came inside, cleaned up, ate breakfast, and by the time we finished breakfast and put the dishes in the dishwasher, it was all gone. All was melted. We went on with the rest of our day. So that's what we see here for snow. But other parts of the country just have a coldness that runs through the area. Check out this graphic here, where it's going to show you some of the average temperatures throughout the year in different parts of the country. So you can see places like here in Myrtle Beach, where we're seeing 50 to 60s. Up in the Northeast, like in Pennsylvania, they're seeing 30s and 40s during those times. Not what I want to deal with. I remember this last year. One of the things that I had on my bucket list that I wanted to do last year was go up to the Northeast, go to Philadelphia, and see a Philadelphia Eagles game. I've lived down in Pennsylvania for many years before moving down here, and one of the things that I never got to do while living up there was go to an Eagles game. So in October of this year, I went with my friend. Here's a picture of us up standing in the stadium. We went up to a game in October and saw a game. I forgot how cold it gets up there, even in October. Luckily, when I got on the plane, I grabbed a jacket at the last minute and threw it in my bag, so I at least had some sort of a jacket, but it was so cold. Now, the game that we went to was the Kelly Green game, where Philadelphia Eagles wore their throwback uniforms, and because of that, they were handing out prizes and things as you came into the stadiums, and one of the things that they handed out that day was a koozie. The thing you stick your beer in to keep it cold or keep something warm? Well, that's all I had. I'm standing in the stadium shivering so much that I put my hands in my pocket and I put my hand in the koozie to try to act as a glove just to keep my hands warm because it was that cold. Now, my friend who was with me, he laughed at me because he's used to the cold a little bit better than I am. And well, it didn't work, but nevertheless, when you go up in the Northeast and when you live up there, it's just cold. We're down here, we're gonna have very mild winters, and most of the time, people are wearing shorts even almost year round. I remember when I first moved down here, I lived in shorts year round. My first full year living in South Carolina, I remember going to the beach on my birthday at the end of October and swimming in the ocean and going, wow, this is amazing. The ocean water at that time was still warmer than it ever would get when I went to visit the Jersey Shore. So when it comes to weather, it's a great thing. Now, the downside to the weather is this. As we're getting here into the summertime, here's a graphic of what the temperatures were on the heat index for Memorial Day weekend here in Myrtle Beach. As you can see, the heat index is putting the temperatures up over 90 degrees. So when we get to summer, it's hot. No doubt about it, it's hot and it's gonna be humid here. But if you can deal with that, enjoy a little bit of heat, maybe just be careful you don't get sunburned, then you don't have to deal with the snow. Weather here is gonna make it a perfect place for you to live. The second thing on their list of items that they talk about is the cost of living. And one of the places I like to go when I'm talking about cost of living is bestplaces.net. It's a website where it looks at cost of living in all the different cities across the country. And if you want, you can even go in there and compare the current city you live in versus here in Myrtle Beach. So I'm gonna show you one of those in a minute, but first let's just look here at Myrtle Beach and kind of how it ranks in comparison to other parts of the country. When we start to look at this, the first thing that I wanna bring to your attention is this. Here in Myrtle Beach, it's about 6% less cost of living than in anywhere else in the country if you look at the average. The average is 100, right? We're down here in the 93 to 94 range. So it's a much more affordable living here in Myrtle Beach. Let's talk about a few items that you might use on a regular basis. Gallon of gas right now. They're right now averaging in our area right around $3. I had a client who just moved here from Arizona, and when he saw the gas prices here, he went, dude, gas is under $3. I said, yeah. He said, man, I haven't seen the 2 on the first part of that gas number in a very, very long time. So cost of living when it comes to fuel and things getting around like that, it's much less. Let's talk about property taxes. South Carolina has ranked as the 6th lowest property taxes in the country for many, many years. And I did a little bit of research before shooting this video and checked it again. It's still for 2024 ranks at number 6 for the least amount of property taxes. So once you live here, you make the home your primary residence, you're going to save a ton of money. Now, as I mentioned, primary residence, real important that you get that done. If you're moving here, one of the things I always make sure to help my people do is get that discount because it takes your price down of your taxes down to about 1/3 of what they would be if not. Now, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I was going to talk about comparing Myrtle Beach to another city. Well, one of the places that I have seen a huge influx of people moving here right now are people coming from California. In the last few weeks, I have met with several Californians who are visiting the area and thinking about moving here. In fact, one that I just met with last week, they were from LA. So I decided to put in Los Angeles compared to Myrtle Beach. And here you can see the comparison on your screen. So living in Myrtle Beach, the cost of living is about 67% less than living in Los Angeles, California. So why are all the people leaving California wanting to come here? They can live for about 1/3 of the cost of what it was there in California. Makes sense to me. Now, the one side that you have to take into consideration is this. If you're needing to transfer here and get a new job, or you need to pick up a job, or your job's just transferring you here, they're more than likely going to change your pay rate. Because living in this area costs so much less, the salaries and positions that you're going to find in this area are going to be also significantly less because it doesn't cost as much for day-to-day living. So if you, for example, let's say you're a teacher, you might be making in California $100,000 a year. Here in Myrtle Beach area, you may only be getting 40 to 45 a year. It's all relative. It's okay to take that less pay because it's not gonna cost you that much to live each and every day. But what I want you to do, pause the video right here, go to bestplaces.net and put in your city and just take a look at it. Come back and let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear the difference between where you live and here in Myrtle Beach. So when it comes to cost of living, Myrtle Beach, it definitely is a win when it comes to that. And the third point that we want to talk about that they mentioned in their article was the quality of life. As someone who's now lived in Myrtle Beach for 25 plus years, I can tell you that the quality of life living here is just second to none. It is awesome. It is a great place to live. And whenever you're having a stressful time, whenever things are frustrating, I don't know why, but a trip down to the beach and just taking an hour to just relax there seems to fix a lot of those problems. I don't know if it's the ocean air, I don't know if it's the sound of the waves, I don't know if it's the sand between your toes or what it is, but it is something that I have found that just will help to relieve any stress that someone has going on in their life. You know, there's a saying in our area that people pretty much live by, which is life's a beach, right? We live at the beach, and whenever stressful things come up, a trip to the beach will fix them. But at the same time, the other side you have to remember is this. The reason that you're moving here is you want a better quality of life. You want to have a place where things are a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more laid back, a little bit more easier to deal with. You know, as someone who came from the Northeast, where everything was just go, 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 and we had to do it quick and fast, and everybody's stressed, and you know, you're going down the road and people don't wave to you, instead they give you the one finger salute. That doesn't happen down here. Things are more relaxed, things are more easygoing, laid back, calm. So once you get here, and I say this a lot to people, you may not like it the first few months that you're here because you're used to going and going and going. And everyone else here, well, we've already adjusted. And so once you realize I can't make them come up to my speed and I can't fix it, so I might as well just join them, and you get on board with us here with that beach lifestyle, life will become so much better. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, as always, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up, get that bell on, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.